Bite.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over. And surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Thursday. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. Yesterday, I went to the Facebook page of the DVLA. And they had put up a very interesting cartoon suggesting that they are going to the promised land. And that they will tell us where the promised land is. And people started guessing, and people started giving them indication as to the promised land, where it was located. And then I said, oh, so it is true indeed that the DVLA that we all know to be situated behind around the 37 area, where the Army Central Band is and all of that is gone. Wow. Then somebody said, oh, even the barracks that was close by, just the DVLA office, if you walk further down, there's a barracks there, is gone. I said, wow. Then say, but Johnny, opposite your workplace at Afrikiko, near Afrikiko, the flats there, where the officials, the civil servants live, where some of the security officers live, that place is also gone. I said, wow. Then another person said, but don't you know, prisons, the prisons are cantonments, prisons headquarters and all that area, it's also gone. I said, wow. Then somebody said, oh, officers have even been asked to go and look for accommodation, etc. And that one officer told me that he's in the house and they are fencing the house, and he has not moved. He's in the house. So at some point he thought that it was his people who were fencing it. So he called and asked, but if you want to fence my house, you should tell me. He said, we are not aware. It's been given to a private developer. So the question that comes with all this grabbing, and I mentioned to you that right behind here at TV3, right behind here, in between ISD and Land City, in fact, in the ISD building, on that compound, there's a building that is coming up, a high-rise building. The Lands Commission had caused to write a notice to put on the wall, on the gate, that they should stop work. They still have built to the top. It is only the whatever encourages them to be practice such impunity, nobody understands. But in the coming days, I will give you a tall list of all those lands that have been grabbed in the name of giving to private developers or in the name of development in those places that used to be residential areas where people still live. And then we'll ask the question why the lands are not being returned to their allodial owners, who are the Ga people, right? And they should be majoring in the majors and stop majoring in the minors. Why the lands are not returning to their allodial owners, and why they are being given to other people in the name of development, and who the people behind this whole cartel of development, I'll tell you in the coming days. Because there's a lot of land grabbing that is happening. I'll tell you in the coming days. We have set our eyes on the ground. We have gathered some things. In the coming days, I'll tell you. But this morning, I want to talk to one of my uncles, the Ashanti Regional Minister, Mr. Simon Osei Mensah. And I want to talk to him respectfully, not because I have a personal issue with him, but because I think that if the way I was brought up is indeed the right way, when somebody is going on the wrong path, you must be bold enough to say it, but respectfully so. And that is why today I've come to speak to the Ashanti Regional Minister, Mr. Simon Osei Mensah. Honorable Wafa, good morning. Give me the pool letter. I'll read this verbatim to you. This is dated the 16th of April, 2024. It's from the Public Utility Workers Union of the TUC of Ghana. It says, statement by Pool on the recent abuse of the Ashanti East Regional General Manager of the Electricity Company of Ghana. Put it up there, please. The attention of the Public Utilities Workers Union, Pool, has been drawn to a recent incident, which, if not handled with care, will fester and cause significant challenges for workers of the ECG who are members of the union. Listen, on Wednesday, 10th April 2024, a revenue task force established by the board and management of ECG with the support from the Minister of Energy, Matthew Boku Prempeh, went on an operation in the Ashanti region and disconnected power supply to the Kumasi Technical University for owing over 600,000 cedis of electricity consumed. Prior to this disconnection, the university has been served a demand notice reminding them of their indebtedness to ECG and the consequences of not negotiating for payment. Led by the Vice Chancellor, Professor Dumont, the university engaged Engineer Michael Wiafe, the General Manager for Ashanti East, for a payment terms since they could not afford the 75% upfront payment before reconnection. The General Manager, Engineer Wiafe, informed the university that the National Task Force must be brought into the picture since it is handling the issue. On Thursday, 11th April, at about 9 p.m., the Regional Minister for Ashanti, Honorable Simon Osei-Mensah, called Engineer Michael Wiafe, threatening him to reconnect power supply to the university. Engineer Wiafe stated that he did not have that authority since the disconnection was done by a team from the head office and that he is engaging with the parties for a solution. Despite this explanation by Engineer Wiafe, Honorable Osei-Mensah told Engineer Wiafe that he shall report him to the police for refusing to reconnect power to the university. Shortly after he ended the call, the police at Zongo Police Station called Engineer Wiafe and demanded him to report to the station. Engineer Wiafe pleaded with the police to make his visit the following morning since it was late. On Friday, 12th April, Engineer Wiafe visited the Zongo Police Station with Engineer Peter Fletcher, the General Manager in charge of ECG Staff Transmission Network in the Ashanti region. Upon the arrival, Engineer Wiafe was informed that the police is investigating a charge against him for causing public unrest due to the disconnection. He was asked to write his statement, which he did, and then after, take me to the next page, was granted self-recognizance bail by the police. Now, technically, Engineer Wiafe is under investigation by the Ghana Police Service for the lawful disconnection by the National Task Force of a university which happens to be situated within his operational jurisdiction, and the complainant is the regional minister. This is unacceptable and clear case of abuse of power. The union strongly condemns this action by the regional minister and finds this particular incident very unfortunate and an affront to the rights of the ECG staff and members of the union. These actions by some politicians are becoming too rampant, and the union is sending a strong warning against it. It is important to state that ECG has been given the mandate to distribute power and collect revenue, and since it still operates a credit system, staff of ECG and members of the union shall continue to send demand notices and disconnect customers who refuse to pay for electricity consumed as per the rules of engagement stipulated by the PURC. The National Union is strongly against the tendency of persons who wield political power using it to oppress or harass public servants who are carrying out their official duties. We wish to use this opportunity to admonish all political office holders to use tact and decorum in dealing with public servants who are carrying out their legitimate official duties. Signed, Michael Edumata Nyantichis, General Secretary. So the university owes. ECG goes to disconnect because Dubik Mahama and his team are looking for money, because they have been told by the finance ministry and the government to look for money because we are in a difficult place. So technically, government owes government. Then the regional minister, whose job is it is to be the head of the Security Council. Come to me. The head of the Security Council. To be protecting staff of ECG and other staff of the state. Now makes a call to another state institution to say, please, pick him up. Arrest him. For what? For doing his legitimate job. Wafa, sit down quietly this morning and think deeply. Did you make the right decision? And I'm asking this because there's also a certain trend that I've seen. I digress a bit. There's a USSD code to check for insurance, right? Whether a car is insured or not. There's a USSD code. Star 712 something, I've forgotten. If you like, see any state-owned vehicle, and check if those state-owned vehicles are insured with SIC, the state insurer. Government is refusing to do business with government, and that is why SIC is collapsing. Check the vehicles. Take me back to 2017, when President Akufo-Addo announced Honorable Simon Osei-Mensah. He called him the big elephant in the room. He said he was an excellent communicator, that he knew how to deal with people and how to relate with them. Listen to him.
And there's always the big elephant in the room. The region which is at the heart, the head and the heart of the new patriotic party. Very dynamic region with the people who are very entrepreneurial, very assertive, and at the same time who have a great love of their own culture and traditions. We've seen that recently with the death of the Asante Hema and the way in which that funeral has been conducted to the admiration not just of our country but of the world and those who care to watch. This year's election went very well for us in the Ashanti region. Of the 47 seats that are there, we now have 44. And we won seats there that we had never won before, UAPPS. One of the most articulate communicators of the MPP position in both regional Ashanti affairs as well as national affairs is the man that I've selected to be the regional minister designate for Ashanti. He had a long career in the parliament, member of parliament for Busuntri constituency, and I believe that he's ready for the farmer.
That was President Akufo-Addo. And keep that, go back, keep it on. Show me Mr. Simon Osei-Mensah. He had his hand at his back or behind him. Like a very, that's not Honorable Simon Osei-Mensah. He had his hand at his back. Like a very obedient student who was standing by the headmaster at early morning assembly and collecting funds. That Simon Osei-Mensah we saw on the 11th of January 2017 is not the Simon Osei-Mensah we see these days. Play the school feeding video. The one he was standing at the top like modern day Pharaoh, talking down at the people. Play. And these are largely party women organizers. People's mothers, people's wives People who create employment. Keep the image on, not my face. What are you showing my face for? People who pay school fees, people who take care of others, people who employ others. You saw the way he dismissed them. He did not even listen to them. And as if that was not enough, the next day, there was an interview with him where he said he has no regrets. Listen to that interview as well. Listen.
I had some nice eyesight in my office. So I sent my special assistant to find out. She came back and informed me that caterers on school feeding were there demonstrating. So I came out and then asked them, one, have they ever come to me? And why are they demonstrating before they come to me with their issues? Two, they did not even go to the police to inform them that they were going to demonstrate. So when they entered, if the security at the Regional Coordinating Council had reacted and maybe attacked them, what would have been the results? I think this country, we must be truthful to ourselves. We must be truthful to ourselves and start pampering people. The impunity is too much. I sympathize with them. I would not be happy for the government to owe me for maybe months, when maybe I borrowed and interest is accruing, and maybe I cannot even feed my family. But we should not use illegality to solve problems. We should solve our problems through the legal means. In this country, if you want to demonstrate, you go and inform the police before you embark on demonstration. You don't just get out and start demonstrating. We are not in a lawless country. We are in a country being governed by law. That is why we say we are in a democratic dispensation. So you don't just take the law into your hand and start maybe acting the way you want. No, I don't tolerate those things.
Wafa, respectfully, if there's anybody who has been pampered and over-pampered, it is you. Nana Addo has over-pampered you, same as Chief of Staff who supervises your work. They have over-pampered you. If there's anybody who has been over-pampered, it is you. Wafa, respectfully, if there's anybody who has taken the law into their hands, it is you. Why, have you forgotten so suddenly what you did at Ejura? Where you ordered the soldiers to go and people died in Ejura. And when they asked that, oh, you resign. You say, I won't resign. You called the bluff of the people. If there's anybody who has been over-pampered, it is you. Show the national security video. Under your watch, 2 national security coordinators in the Ashanti region have been pushed out of their office by hoodlums, party boys. If there's anybody who has been pampered, it is you. How is it a court was attacked under your watch, under your nose, as head of the Security Council of the region? If anybody has been pampered, it is you. If anybody has done lawless things, it is you. What was Engineer Yafi's mistake, or what was his crime? Trying to collect money that belongs to the state. If Johnnie Hughes owes and I consume power and I haven't paid for it, Engineer Yafi will come to my home and come and disconnect. And nobody, I can't call anybody to arrest him. When you do those things, you actually discourage civil servants from doing their work. And you see in the Maslock matter, the judge told the civil servants that you should not kowtow to some of those whims and caprices of these politicians. If there's anybody who has been pampered, it is you. If there's anybody who has been lawless, it is you. Wafa, you have been show the videos. It is you who has been pampered. It is you who have done the lawless things. And I'm just mirroring what was said about you then, that you're an affable person, a great communicator. Show the videos. A great communicator, an affable person, you know how to relate with people. So what happened to you, Wafa? That everybody who you meet and you talk about things, they say, oh, you are arrogant, you are this, you are that, you are that. Put the video up there, please. You meet, they say you are arrogant, you are this, you are that, you are that. And I don't understand. I don't understand. Now, take me to VRA. VRA, yes. When we moved the, the Ameri, and renamed it into whatever in the Ashanti region, you went there, you made a very beautiful speech, Wafa. The VRA has done code cards. I'll show you. Show me the first code card from the VRA. You say the inauguration of this thermal power plant signifies a step forward in our efforts to address the energy needs of our region and demonstrates our unwavering commitment to fostering economic growth and prosperity for our citizens. You say it is for development, prosperity for our citizens. We are begging IMF, the government of which you are part, is begging IMF. Show me the second one. Begging IMF for money. We are going to tax Boga for money. You have money sitting here and you don't want the people to collect it. So now that you have arrested the gentleman and asked him to write a statement, and he's now under investigation, a whole engineer, and he even mentioned to you that it is from Accra, it is not from him. He said, go and reconnecting lights, no mommy. How do you conduct yourself in this manner? So if there's anybody who has been pampered, anybody who has taken the law into their hands, say, I'm sorry, but it is you. And you see, because the police are afraid of you, they will follow you jump like that. What you have forgotten is that the president called you the big elephant in the room. He called you that for a reason, because he said the Ashanti region is the heart of the party. Already you have stepped on the legs of women organizers. It has political implications and on the elections as well. You have stepped on the legs of the security. It has political implications, including one who was a lawyer and a senior police officer, COP at that. Then now you have stepped on the leg of labor unions. How many more legs can you step on? Big elephant in the room. And why can't you use dialogue in your conversations? Why? Why? The other time I saw a video of you, somebody had dried cocoa on a part of road and say, arrest him, take him. Why? If there's anybody who has been pampered, it's you. This is what you said. The power supply challenges, including instability, low voltage, and blackouts known as Doomso, have plagued the Ashanti region for so long and continue to remain a significant concern for both industrial and residential customers. So is that why you don't want the lights to be disconnected, so that the students at the KTU would say that the government has failed, and for which reason will have political implications? So you are stopping ECG from doing their legitimate work. How? Wafa, how? If nobody will tell you, I will tell you. Because I consider you to be my uncle. And I won't say this in hiding, because I have tolerated it since 2017. And I'm sure I'm not the only person. And the dismissive nature in which you speak, Wafa, is not good for public service. This was not how you were when you were MP for Bosomtwe. When we covered Parliament, this was not how you were. So what has changed? In a crucial election year as this, where the people are complaining that the government has not done enough for the Ashanti region, the things that you want to do now is to have ECG officials arrested and have them write statements for doing their legitimate job. If they were doing something wrong and you ask them for them to be arrested, if you ask for them to be arrested, I wouldn't have had a problem. If they had done something wrong and you had asked for them to be arrested, I wouldn't have had anything to say. But they have not done anything wrong. They are doing their legitimate duty. If they were not doing their duty too, you will be the same person complaining. And I've noticed one thing about you, Wafa. When you went to the Asanteman Council to admit that the roads were bad, and sometimes you even get embarrassed when you drive on those roads, you were very, very humble, and you had your hands at your back, just like you were standing by Nanado. When it comes to the citizens who pay the taxes to feed you, clothe you, house you, give you fuel, and to provide the comfortable V8 that saved you from a Jura when the people started pelting you with stones and sticks, you talk down at the people. Why do you do that? So what kind of example are you leaving for the other younger politicians? Because they will start assuming that it is okay if Wafa Simon Mensah has done it, then it is okay for all of us to do it, because the young politicians will now start copying that, and they'll start insulting the citizens who actually take care of them. The elders of this country must continue to give us the right examples for us to follow. That action you took against the ECG staff is in very, very bad taste if nobody has already told you. And you should be bowing down your head in shame, Wafa. As an uncle, we look up to you, and this is not what we want to look up to you to see. We want to look up to you to see you the same Wafa that we knew many, many years ago. Something has entered you, and that thing must be exorcised. Good morning. Please call me 055-924-2717